Alrighty. 3 seconds till we're ready to run. Round 4 at Baku. And while everything's getting set up, I'm going to bring up the point standing list, and we'll go through the point standings as they're getting ready to qualify. How's it going, Chucky? How's it going, Chucky? How's it going, Chucky? Hear the echo. Alright. Alright, so the points leader, Kev, in the Mercedes is at 64 points. Then we got Pat, who's in second in the points, in the Williams at 53. Then you got Chris, who's third in the Haas with 43. Then you got Jan in the Ferrari fourth with 31. Then you got Skid, who's fifth in the other Mercedes with 20. Then you got Trey, who's right here. He's sixth in the McLaren with 19 points. Vic, who is seventh, and he is not here today. He's seventh with 15. Then we got Gale in the Alpha. He's eighth with 12 points. Then we got Jan in the Racing Point with 8 points. We got his teammate, Lys, or Mario, easier way of saying his name. He's 10th in the points, tied with his teammate at 8 points. And we got Tibin, who's 11th with 6 points. Simon, or Placo, which he's right here. He's 12th with 6 points, so he's tied for 11th in the Toro Rosso. And we got Purple Haze, who's 13th with 4. We got John 19-9, who's not here today. He's 14th. His teammate Anthony, or Anthony, if I pronounce it right, he's 15th with 1 point. Then we got Tepre, who's 16th with 1 point. Alex, who's 17th, who's not here with 0. Luke, I don't know if Luke's here. He's not. He's at 0 points at 18th. And then we got Spiffy, who's 19th with no points. So as we get that, we'll go on board with Pat, as he's already on a hot lap. We'll go up with what tires everyone's fitted. So Pat's obviously on hards. And we'll drop those down. And we'll go on board here. As he's on a hot lap here as he comes into turn 3. Nice and easy. And 4 as he's got Tepre in front of him on an out lap. So I would imagine the Red Bull should give way to the Williams and not hurt his lap. But so far the Red Bull's staying in front of the Williams, which this is going to hurt the Williams because it's going to mess him up. And there's a little bit of front wing coming off the car. Tepe gets out of the way, but I had to distract Pat for quite a few laps there. So he comes into the third sector. Down this hill into the final one of the last corners, third to last corner. Now he's got just these 2 quick left-right bends in this long straightaway. They're wide open. Down this long straightaway. DRS opens there. And we'll see what he puts in for a first lap on the hards. It's a 1:41.9. So let's see who's next here, as I'm already behind. And Tenny goes on a 1:42.3 second on the sauce. Who's next here? Not Kev. Trail's there. Looking like it might be Trail. Purple Haze is third with a 1:42.5 on softs also. John has joined the session now, so he's a little late. And with that being said, he has to pick a preset setup, and he won't be able to join qualifying. Killing for Cash has been disqualified from qualifying, so he won't be putting the time in. He'll start at the back. Trail goes to the top with a 1:40.7 on those softs. Tipperay's right there. Spiffy's right here, as he's got a Merc behind him. Well, here we'll go on board with Kev, who's also on the hards, as Galileo goes to the top of the board with a 1:40.5 on mediums, so 2/10 faster. Kev goes 7th fastest with a 1:43.8 on the hards. So he's about 2 seconds slower than Pat on hards. We got Plexico, who's set up mediums. Let's see where Spiffy is. Spiffy's coming into the pits. Skid goes the 4th fastest with a 1:41.8, and I would imagine he was the one behind Spiffy there on that. So we'll go on board with Tipperay, who's coming to complete his first flying lap. Jan has retired from the session. Tipperay goes 10th fastest. I don't know where Jan retired at, which is not good, so I don't know if, I would imagine it's right up here. Yep, missed the corner. I wonder if he broke some front wing and tried to take that corner flat out and just hit the wall. Had no turn, I would imagine. So let's see what everybody's down to the leader right now. Galileo with that on the medium, so he's on the harder tire. Treo hits the pits. See if anybody's on a flyer here. Doesn't look like. I think everybody's pitting. Pat comes in. He puts the mediums on now. Biz Hockey, I don't think he is allowed to qualify since he's an F1 guy and this is F2. I think he has to start at the back. He's just a sub for today. Same way with Killing Cash. We got Spiffy out on mediums. So looks like Tepray's on another flyer, and he's 1.6 seconds faster in the first 2 sectors, so we'll see what he sets the lap. 4.6, 1:45.2, so that ain't bad. It's a lot better. We got Spiffy, who's out, and he's in what, just coming out of the castle section. Yep. Where's Pat at? Pat's just going through the castle section, so Spiffy Casual is ahead of him right now. Let's see what he sets for a lap. Oh, as he gets a little loose out from that curve. Wide open, right up next to the wall. Playing with the wall. So we got 9.5 minutes to go. We'll see what people do. See what people says. We'll stay on board with Spiffy here, and then we'll go to Pat because we know Pat's next. And then we'll go probably either to Jan or Chris, depending on who's. Well, we'll go on board with Chris because Jan pitted. Jan, I think it's Jan. I think. It was a race point all over the curb. Spiffy all over the curb, and the McLaren in the background stayed away from the curb. That was the race point getting out of the way. That was the yellow flag. Spiffy getting all kinds of loose. Comes up through the castle section. Gets that down. You can hear him playing with the throttle. So get the over-the-shoulder look. Nice corner there. Lap's looking pretty decent so far. Looks fast, but what looks fast doesn't always equate to what's on the stopwatch. Comes down the long straightaway with a 1:43.3. Goes 8th fastest. So let's get on board with Pat here. He's coming into the pits. Oh, no lap from on the mediums from him. We'll go to Chris because he's coming out of the final or second to final corner. Oh, he lifted. Well, he's a little bit of lag problem here. Lagging all over the place. And he sets a 1:41.6, so third fastest on the mediums. Not too bad. He's 1.1 seconds off Galileo and on his mediums. So let's see. Purple Haze is on a flyer. He's 6/10 down in sector 2, so that's not going to be any faster. Kev's 1.1 seconds faster in sector 1 on mediums from the hards. So we'll see. Trail picks up a 5-place grid penalty for hitting Spiffy, and we missed that one. So Spiffy's got damage. So I don't know if Spiffy was trying to get out of the way and Trail ran into the back of him. I'm pretty sure we'll see that after the race. The stewards will, and they'll make a judgment call on that one. But not a lot we can do with a 5-place grid penalty for Trail, especially when he's second on the board right now. As Kev had to dive out of the way. I don't know who that was. And was that Spiffy Spiffy on the racing line of Kev, and that's going to hamper his lap time, and that's probably going to be a repercussion of that from Spiffy for being on the racing line on a hot lap with Kev. As we see Trejo, who's wrecked down the straightaway, probably from the damage that he got either with Spiffy. But I know Kev cannot be happy because he ran a 140.8 on the mediums, and I feel like he lost a couple tenths with that because he had to lock up. We're on board with Tibbin here because Skid's not even nowhere near around. Tibbin's 6 tenths faster in sector 2, so we'll see what he sets for a lap. He's faster right now than his previous lap. He's on the soft compound, so he's on the fastest tire. DRS is open. Got 208, 209, 210. Runs a 140.7. Oh, and he missed his braking point. And that's qualifying over. Tibbin. He tried to bail at the last minute, knowing he wasn't going to make it, and she didn't work. Tried to bail last second, didn't work. We'll go on board with Jan. He hasn't set a lap yet, and 5th fastest. So good lap by Jan 5th fastest. Chris left the session, but he should be able to rejoin, and he should keep his spot if he can rejoin. But we'll go on board with Skid here, who's on a flyer, and I didn't catch how fast he was, or how far up he was on his previous time. He's at a 140, 41.2, 6th fastest he stays, so he jumps Chris. We'll go back on board with Pat here, who's on board. We'll see where Tippery is. Tippery is, I have no idea where Tippery's on the straightaway. Trying to think of where he was at. He was on the straightaway. Pat's got 4 corners to go. Nice and easy through this corner. Pretty solid. No oversteer, no understeer. Looked pretty smooth. Comes down through here, looking for that line for it to open the rear wing. It's right there. And he sets a 139.6 on the softs. So now, will Galileo come back out on softs, or will he be content with those mediums? Now remember, the guy that starts 3rd, he has a 5-spot grid penalty. So right now he'll be 8th, Chris. So everybody from 4th to 8th will move up a spot if it stays this way. 10A retires from the session, so I don't know if that's him wrecking. Purple Haze, Spiffy are out on a lap, on the shoes, on a flyer. He's 0.6 faster than his previous lap time right now. Oh, is he got her woed up somehow? He looked like he was about to go straight to the wall. I didn't think that car was going to slow down. Comes in out of the last 2 corners. Quick left, right. Does he hold it wide open? He sure does. The rear wing opens. He's up to 205, 206. He was running 202. Crosses the line at 145.0. 2.5 seconds faster. Good lap. Good lap. 2.5 seconds faster. That's a good lap. Pat's on a cooldown, and Galileo does come out on those softs. So he will make an appearance on the softs with 1 minute 15 to go. Chris is on an out lap. So Chris is here. We know Spiffy and Purple Haze. Purple Haze has gotten in front of Spiffy. Purple Haze is in 10th right now, so top 10 start on their tires. 11th through 17th get to pick their tires they want to start the race on. So we'll stay on board here. We'll go to, and then we'll probably go to Chris, who's next out. Oh, his Purple Haze got a little close. We'll see how he handles through the castle section. Nice and easy. Didn't try to overdo it in there. A little bit of wheel spin out of that section. Tried to get the power down a little bit too much, and had to wait for her to hook up. I would say Skid is done for the day, or for the session. Pat, he's put the time up there. He's 9/10 faster than Galileo. We'll see what Galileo sets for a lap. He gets around. See what Purple Haze sets here on brand new softs. Now he's coming in line. There's 140, 141, a 142.2. He was a 10,000th of a second slower than his previous lap. Spiffy doesn't move up. So Chris, he is 8/10 faster than his previous lap on the mediums. And he's still having issues. As you can tell, the car keeps jumping around on me, so he's lagging. So he's having connection issues. Hopefully that clears up for the race, because that's going to be a problem for the race, especially on lap 1. You can take a lot of cars out when your car jumps around like that. It's like a bubble. You gotta guess where they're at inside the bubble, or where they're gonna show up. Chris runs a 139.606. He goes to the top of the board. Where's Galileo? Galileo's 1.4 seconds faster in Sector 2 than his previous time. He runs a 138.9 and goes to the top. Chris thought he had the pole for a split second, and Galileo says no. Now we got Kev. What can Kev run? Kev runs a 138.9 something. I didn't catch it. Second fastest. So Pat went from pole to 4th. Chris went from pole to 3rd. Kev went from 6th to 1st. And Galileo went from 3rd to 1st. Or, I mean, Kev went from 6th to 2nd. Trejo has a 5-spot grid penalty, so he'll start 10th. So everybody from 6th up to 10th will move up. So Trejo will be 10th. Tibin will be 5th. Jan will be 6th. Skid will be 7th. Antini will be 8th. Purple Haze will be 9th. Trey will be 10th. Spiffy will be 11th. Lamashu will be 12th. Placo will be 13th. Tepre will be 14th. Hockey will be 15th. Jan will be 16th. And Killing Cash will be 17th to round out the grid. And there is no formation in this series, so when they all load in, it's rock and roll. 5 lights and away we go. Oh, hopefully it's not so chaotic like it was earlier this morning, or it got a little messy in the turn 1. I mean, little budgy and elbows came out a little bit, but I mean, other than that, it's pretty smooth. We'll see if Galileo gets a better start than he did at, I think it was Bahrain. He was on pole, and by the end of lap 1, he was down to 8th. He kind of got bombarded on lap 1. People just kind of took advantage of him. And then after that, he had to kind of fight back. And I think he ended up with a top 5 spot. But we got 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go. We'll see who's jumping on positions. Galileo with a better start. Who was that just spun? As we got a McLaren all over the place here. Tibbin, I would imagine that was Tibbin. That was a Jan is out of the race. We got carnage everywhere. Tenny's out of the race. The Mashuza is wrecked. He's good to go. Jan has left the session. Oh, as the Renault is missing a front wheel. I'm surprised that's not a safety car. But we'll go back up front here as we're all going through. John gets past Killing Cash. Look at Hockey started, what, 15th? He's up to 10th. Galileo's first through there. Kev. Pat. Then we got Chris. Then we got Skid, who's made his way up to 5th. Ooh, that's a little bit of a corner cut. You probably got a warning for that. Jan 6th. Trail 7th. Let's go 8th. Spiffy's up to 9th with front wing damage. Hockey's 10th. And all over his back end. Hockey is looking everywhere, and he's got Tibbin right behind him. Chris has left the session. I would imagine that he lagged out. As Hockey still looking. Oh, as Tibbin just gives him the boot. And no front wing damage for that. I cannot believe that. It's now they all rocketed by Spiffy as someone got wing damage. That was Tibbin, who overcooked the corner and got wing damage. Chris joins, and Chris is down to 7th. As his computer has been running for him, so it makes him slower. So we'll see when he takes back over, as his car's still, you can tell, he hasn't taken over the car yet. We got another yellow flag in Sector 3 here. As we got Tibbin going on mediums. Spiffy going to softs. Coming for cash. No front wing. He's going to softs. John's out of the pits. He's on softs. Coming for cash. Gets released. And the shoes finally in the pits. So we lost 2 guys in turn 2 on lap 1. We'll go back up front here. As we got Jan on skid all over him. Oh, as he loses a little bit of the front wing. Loses the end plate as he just barely clipped that inside corner. Looked like Chris in the background. He took control of his car. He's having connection issues. He's all over the place. Jumping every which way. He's having lagging issues. Serious lagging issues. So he's going to be a moving roadblock, pretty much. Oh, look at the McLaren get the run on Jan there through those little S curves. That Racing Point missing that front end plate on the right hand side there, as you can see it. And I think Jan is pitting. Yep, Jan pitted. So Trejo made it easy as Chris, laggedy Chris here, bouncing all over the place, probably giving Trejo a heart attack. When he looks in his rearview mirror, he doesn't know where he's exactly at with the bouncing around. We got a battle for the lead. Kev all over his rear end, all over Galileo's rear wing. Hounding him. Shows the nose. Thinks better of it. Tucks back in. Chris gets by Trejo. Oh, that was sector 3. Oops, my bad. That was sector 3. We won't have to worry about that. Nice and easy through here. Pat's another 3 seconds behind this battle, so 3rd and 4th place are kind of out in no man's land right now. They're not battling anybody. Chris is the one trying to gain back his spots because he was in 4th. But this is the battle. Pat, he's just hoping that somebody, they tangle with each other, slow each other up, start battling real hard so he can get another spot. As we got flags in sector 1, sector 2, sector 1, sector 2 again. Chris has left the session again, so he lagged out again. Trejo's going to get back by him. Kev is coming on him with a DRS. Sets fast lap, does not pull to the inside, tucks back behind. He's looking, thinks better about it. Oh, Galileo did not get through that corner and slowed Kev up. He would have had the run, but he had to check up. Still gets DRS, and he's going to pull the inside. And he should have the move done as he locks up the left front, but he gets the job done. Galileo goes from the pole down to 2nd. And we'll see what Kev does if he just pulls away, or if Galileo can stay right back on his rear wing and put the pressure back on him. You can see the harvest mode with the red lights flashing. They're harvesting. Oh, as Kev jumps all over the throttle, and the rear end just did not like that. She got a little tail happy in the rear end. Pat, he can see these guys, but he just trying to just can't get there. As Biz, Hockey's pitted, he's went to hards after 4 laps, so he's went to hards. We'll see if he tries to make these hards last the entire race. Kev's messed up. Kev has lost half his front wing. I missed that. I apologize. Skid has got by his teammate. Pat's up to 2nd now. And I would imagine Kev cooked it into, turn 15 or 16 there? And, lost. Oh, Kev is retired. The points leader has retired from the race. And we'll see if he lost his front. Yes, he lost the front left wheel. He hit the wall out of those S's. He's not going to score any points. That means if Pat has another podium finish, he will take back the points lead. Purple Haze is up into a podium spot right now, running very good for that Red Bull. Sitting in third. Pasco's in fourth. How far are these guys moved for positions? Look at that. Purple Haze 6 spots. Pasco 9 spots. Skid has entered the pits and he's come out on mediums. So the soft's just not working. And I would imagine he might get a warning for that, for joining the track too early. Jan hasn't gained any spots. Chris has lost 4. And he's still having problems. Hockey's up 7. Tibbins lost 8. Lemeshue's lost 2 after he passes Kev. John's up 6 spots. So if Chris can somehow manage to keep his connection and stay in the points for this race, he will gain on the points leader. But as long as Pat stays where he's at, he should gain the points lead after this, coming out of round 4, going into Spain for round 5 next Sunday. Right now, we really don't have we got Treo and Tipperay, which is, I think, Chucky's brother. I think, I could be wrong. They might not be related at all. I just know they have the same name. And he's battling for 9th with Treo. So Treo with no left front wing. And he's going to do what I did to Chucky. Exact same thing. Booted him right into the rear end. That was kind of like a NASCAR move. Kind of gave him the chrome horn and just shoved him into the wall and pretty much said, get out of my way. I did the similar thing to Chucky earlier today, but I kind of took him out of the race. And then, to make matters worse, Treo just creams the wall and somehow he does not get damage. And Smithy says, thank you, I'll go from 11th to 9th. And Tipperay, who's got front wing damage from that collision with the wall from Treo. And I would imagine Tippe's not happy with Treo as he kind of brake checks him. And they both pick up 5-second speeding penalties. Well, Tipperay did, which that makes matters even worse for him. John moves up to 10th. Oh, let's see, who's made pit stops here? So the top 3 guys have not made a pit stop. Tibbins made 2. Tibbins making a 3rd. He can't be making 1 lap pit stops because he's not going to have any tires left. He's going to have to run around out there with broken wings if he keeps pitting. I'd imagine he's got to be about out of front wings too. So we'll see. Looks like the leader's pitting this lap. Yep, Galileo going to come into the pits. So after 6 laps on the softs, had enough. I would imagine he's probably going to go to, and Pat follows him in. So they go on both hards. Well, it says mediums. No, Galileo went to hards. Pat comes in. Pat goes to hards. Plesko, who's on mediums, he's coming down the straightaway. Pat's already released. Galileo's already released. Plesko stays out in that Toro Rosso. He's got Skid running him down on 4-lap fresher mediums. So we got another wreck in Sector 3. I would imagine that would have been on Tibbin gets a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I don't know if Chris is back in his car or if it's the computer running. I would imagine it's computer, although Jan is right there. He's right on Chris's rear end. Tibbin has retired from this race. So I don't know where Tibbin's retired at. As Treo and Tepre resume their battling. And well, we got Treo, who's already got more wing damage. So we don't know if that was more of them not getting along with one another. But right now, they just don't like each other. Their cars just like each other. They're like opposite attract, and they want to hit each other. Trail makes the move on the inside, and Tepre just lets him go. That was the battle for 11th. Hockey got around Jan for 6th. Now he's looking at Chris up ahead for 5th. So I think everybody has made a stop. Everybody except for Plasko, whose skid goes zooming on by with the DRS. Oops. He's the only one that has not made a pit stop. 7-lap old mediums. Spiffy's made a pit stop. He's went to hards in 10th. So he's went to hards. Let's see, Chris is on Plasko's rear end. So I would imagine either Plasko made a mistake somewhere, as Chris is back in the car, but he's lagging like mad. And I think that's what's holding Hockey up, because Hockey looks a lot faster than him, but because of the lag, Hockey doesn't know where to kind of put his car, because he doesn't know if Chris is going to be in that spot, in that bubble. So it's pretty much, he's kind of just, and I'm surprised Hockey is this close to his rear end. Yeah, as you can see, the X and his signal connection is 1 bar. Oh, as he hits Plasko and wrecks him. And that's a chain reaction, and we caught that on tape, as Plasko, who's lost his front wing completely now, is not going to be happy with Chris on that, because that was a complete shove in the castle section. If he would have waited, he should have just waited until after. And Plasko is wrecked, and he's out of the race now. And we'll see, I think he did what Tyler did earlier today. Yep, he probably caught that inside curb, and it looped him right into the wall. So that means everybody else moves up, and there's only, what, 13 cars? 12 cars on left in this race, out of the 18 that started. Galileo looking like he's going to win this thing in dominant session here. As Hockey's finally got around Chris. Chris is pitted. Chris pits on 5-lap old softs. He's got no wing end plates from that damage with Plasko, as they change the front wing and put him on hards, and he goes back out. So Jan pits with him. Here comes John on the softs. And it's going to be a drag race into turn 1 or turn 2. John gets ahead of him. Now, who's got DRS? John got DRS. He was behind on the detection line, so he gets DRS. But he should be getting ready to make a pit stop here on 7-lap old softs, as he gets really close to that outside wall, flirting with it. And Chris sees this, and Chris does the old ghost maneuver and goes right through him. Well, okay. I guess that's another way of making a pass. Just go right through the person. Learned a new one today. I wonder if we can do that in real life. Make it a lot easier for passing in real life if we could just pass through the cars. We go into Casper mode. We have to tell all the automakers around the world that we want a car that makes us go into Casper mode, so we can get through traffic on rush hour days on your way home from work. I could use that. Trails all over the back of Spiffy for that 9th spot here, as this is the closest battle. Pretty much everybody else has kind of spaced themselves apart. Spiffy got a good run off that corner, and Trail just didn't get the run, but Trail breaks a lot deeper than Spiffy into the corners, as you see by gaining on Spiffy there. Oh, dive bomb! That was pretty much a move just to miss Spiffy. It wasn't really a dive bomb. I think he braked so late that he knew he was going to rear end Spiffy, so instead of causing damage, he kind of cut the corner to minimize damage. Now he's got the run on Spiffy, and this should be a job job done. As he kind of comes across in front of Spiffy, and Spiffy gives the spot up as Jan's in the pits again. I think we might want to go to see how many times people stop this race instead of like what tires are running, because these guys are losing front wing more than I have no idea what to even say. I feel like I'm watching NASCAR. 3 pit stops, 4 pit stops. We might see a 4 pit stop race. Hockey's gotten around Skid for 3rd. As I don't know what the 2 red lights mean on Hockey's dash there, but that's kind of interesting. Never seen that before. I don't know if that means DRS, which I don't think so. Let's see what that means. We'll go on with telemetry. Says nothing. Says he's got the brakes and the gas fully locked up. Oh, there they go. But as far as I have no idea what that red is. Okay, dokie. Alright. Gotta love Codemaster games sometimes. They always have these little glitches and faulties. It's like watching a real F1 car in real life. They got faults all the time. Alright, what's the closest battle? Looks like Spiffy and Trejo are the closest to one another, 1.7 seconds, but I think Trejo's kind of stretching it on Spiffy there. But if Spiffy can stay where he's at, he'll score points for the first time this year. He hasn't that 3 races, 0 points, so it might be good for him to just keep it clean and just run the racetrack and stay out of trouble. If he stays out of trouble and people stay out of the trouble, as Tibbin leaves the session, he's already out of the race, so more likely frustration of wrecking. Same way with Jan and Nintendo. I missed that in the background. All I seen was a Ferrari go spinning in the background, and I couldn't get down there fast enough before he got retired out of the race. And then by the time I got down there, Nintendo was wrecked into turn 2, and we don't know what happened to him. So we'll probably get a onboard footage of that after the race. See what happened. But 6 cars are out of this race after 12 laps. It's like a high nutrition rate here at Baku, or round 4. Survival of the fittest. And in 2 more weeks, we come to the famous Monaco track, which that track is a high nutrition track too. Can't make hardly any errors because the walls will come out and grab your front wings. So I guess we'll stay on board with Leo and see how he's doing here. Oh, we got Jan on Tepere. That's a battle. Battle for the final points paying position. Tepere kind of doing the old weavy on Jan, and Jan didn't know what he's doing, and Jan's gonna get the run. Jan on softs as John pits. So Spiffy goes up to 8th. John pits for the 2nd time because he was on softs, so John's gonna drop down. John's on what? Softs again or hards? What'd he go on? I can't. Tepere's on hards. Jan's on softs, so Jan's gonna have to make another stop. John picks up a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line on pit exit. So he joined the track too early, and he's on hards. So he's going to the end of the race. Lemashu's hoping 2 more guys retire out of this race, and then he'll be in the points paying position. So he's pretty much, as this is a neat camera view. That's a pretty picture. We get the helicopter or blimp view. See the whole skyline. That's a pretty view. It comes down the straightaway. It's a nice. At least Codemaster's got the cameras right in this game. Go back to the tires. Everybody's on hards except for Skid, who's in the pits. And he went to mediums. He might be able to make it on mediums. Chris still lagging all over the place. Even by himself. Usually when you're by yourself, you don't lag as much, but even by himself, he's still lagging. Might have to give him the old nickname LC. Purple Haze on 7-lap old mediums. He will have to make another pit stop. So I would imagine he's probably going to go to softs. Probably around lap 19 to 21. He'll probably come in, put on softs, and he'll be probably the fastest guy on track with those softs. And he's going to be like a rocket ship. So he'll be trying to set the fast lap and get that extra bonus point. If he can stay in the top 10, which he should. He's right now, if he pitted, he would come out 7th, 6th. He'd come out 6th. Chris and Skid would come out in front of him. Oh, as he hits the wall, and that's not going to help him. His hockey sets fast lap with a 1:43.4, and those 10-lap old hards. So 10-lap. Oh, and Purple Haze hits the wall again and loses more front wing. Now he's going to have to lift out of these corners. Yeah, I was going to say he has no front wing. He tries to take it full bore, and he's going to more likely rear end him. And here we go. We got LC coming and catching Purple Haze, and he's going to see going into pits. And Chris has left the session with that lag. So he passes Purple Haze, and Purple Haze gave him the old Haze bye-bye. Sent Chris over his connection over the cliff and disconnected him from it. Front wing change, and he goes to mediums, and boy, that was a long wait. Long hold. And I have no idea what this camera's doing. So Skid sees that Chris has left the session. Purple Haze gets another 5-second penalty for crossing the white line. Guys, you cannot cross the white line until it ends before you can join the track, as Chris still hasn't taken over his car. So Skid sees this. So Skid is gaining on Chris until Chris can take over his car. And I think Chris just took over his car because it wanted to go straight, and then it forced him around the corner. And he hits the wall. So Chris has hit the wall. I don't see any front wing damage. As he kind of... I think Skid thought Chris was going to let him through, and Chris slammed the door on him. Said, nope. I don't know if that was Chris trying to get himself back going, because when he joined in back into the race, it kind of threw him off, and he missed his braking point and hit the wall, and then he had to kind of gather his composure, and Skid was trying to take advantage of him screwing up there. Now he's still behind him, but he should get a dose of DRS here down this long straightaway. We should see what he's got it at. He's got it at 4 on ERS, 70%. Yep. 209, 208. Drops it down to 2. So now, if he's still within a second, he'll get DRS again. Chris's rear end hanging out there and kissing the wall. We're not at Singapore, Chris. We are at Baku. Down this long straightaway. Skid stays behind him. I think Chris might be running... Well, Chris isn't running. Chris got a little less ERS than Skid, but he's not running any harder than what Skid is. This is the closest battle we got, fellas. Ooh, take that off. So Skid looking for 4th. Chris is trying to keep 4th and keep his connection going. Tepre is retired from the session, so Lys sees that and says, well, thank you. I will take 11th. Now I just need one more guy to retire, and I'll take a point as long as he doesn't retire. And almost half the field is gone in 16 laps. We got 11 laps to go. But we'll go back on board with Skid, because Skid's going to get the DRS again on Chris. Chris gets a nice exit out of the final turn there. And you can see how much Chris is just lagging. Anytime a car gets anywhere near him, it makes him jump all over the place. It's like a moving chicane. Ooh, Chris misses the apex into turn 1, and Skid thought he was going to get underneath him, and then the old laggy LC decides to jump another 2/10 in front of Skid, and Skid goes, well darn, I'm nowhere near him. Gotta be frustrating. I know it would be frustrating for me. Because it is extremely hard trying to figure out where that car is going to show up and where he's not. And it's pretty much you don't want to run behind them because you have a tendency of breaking your front wing when you do that because you don't know exactly if he's going to stop or if it's going to send him up farther. As Lamashu does the gentleman respect and gets out of the battle, gets out of the way of the battle as he's a lap down in 11th. He's just hoping someone wrecks. He's wanting 10th. He doesn't care if he's a lap down. He just wants somebody else to wreck and so he can finish in the points. Now Chris is really taking off on Skid, so I don't know if that was a connection, like jumping Chris way ahead of Skid. We got Pat catching Biz Hockey. So we got a battle for second. Meanwhile, 7 seconds up the road is Galileo, who's just kind of managing the gap on those 10-lap-old hards. But he's got to put another 9 laps on those hards. So, I mean, I managed to run 20 laps on hards this morning in the F1 group. And I know my rear ends were, I think the fronts were at 68 and 70. And the rear end left side was like 71. And the right side was like 78 when I pitted with lap 20. And I had front wing damage on the left-hand side. So I know the hards can go a good 20 laps. But once you get to past like lap 14, 15 on them, boy, it's like driving on ice. They are skatey and all over the place. So I'd imagine Hockey got around Pat, and now he's catching Galileo. He's got it down to 6.1. So Skid's starting to come back as Jan's pitted again on 1 lap old mediums. And he's released. So the racing points are 10th and 11th. So there goes Hockey. John. We'll go back on board. This is the closest battle we got. Skid and Chris. And it looks like Chris has got a little bit of front wing damage on the right hand side. I think he's missing his end plate. Come through. No, he's not. He's got an end plate. Looked like he wasn't. Didn't have one, but black on black fooled me there for a minute. So Skid is within 8/10. I don't know if he's in DRS range. He's gaining, but he's not gaining fast enough, and he's just not. Chris misses the apex turn 1 again, and that lets Skid close up another 10th on him into that. And Chris misses the apex to turn 2. Skid tries to get into his slipstream there. Chris goes protective while pretty much in the center of the road. And as you notice, Skid had no clue where the lag was coming as he slowed way down. It was almost like he was in fuel save mode as he let off the throttle because he had no clue. As we got another accident in Sector 3, so who could that be? I don't know. I don't know who that could have been. Oh, my bad. I'm leaving this battle. Keep leaving this battle. Spiffy's in the pits and gets a 5-second penalty for going too fast into pit road. 37 mile an hour or 60 kilometers, and he was going a little bit too fast. So he drops down to 10th. And he's got 5 seconds on that. Now I don't remember who's all got penalties. As Skid just hits the wall, and I don't know if that was him thinking he was going to hit Chris, and he kind of turned too late. I'm not really for sure what happened there, but he did go inside Chris, so Chris went into Casper mode again. And I have a feeling after this race, Skid's going to be looking at that Haas going, what button is that on your dash that you can push to go into ghost mode? Because I think he's going to tell that to his team that we all want that button. We'll be telling Toto Wolff that Haas has got Gunter Steiner's got a ghost mode on his car. We need that technology. Send a spy over to North Carolina, the United States, figure out how they got that technology. Hockey has caught Galileo though. He's got it down below 2 seconds. He is just eating that lead up. He's left his teammate. Now, if he wins this race, the points don't count for him. He doesn't get any points. He just gets to sulk in the victory and gets the trophy. It's pretty much like NASCAR. When you get the NASCAR drivers, they kind of jump down into the lower leagues, and they kind of run the races for sponsors and kind of they pretty much run for the trophy and the money. Well, hockey's not going to get any money for this race, but he will get a trophy if he wins it. And from what I've seen, he's the fastest guy on the track, and he has caught Galileo within, 3 laps? He went from 7 seconds down to a second within 3 laps, 4 laps. And he's on 3-lap older hards. Older. So that either tells me he took care of his tires, or he's pushing because he might be making another pit stop. And Galileo shows he's got mediums on his car in the game, but we all know he's got hards on. Gotta love that glitch. John retires, and there is Lys Academy. As long as he can stay with all 4 tires on the car and can stay in the race, he will get 10th place. We have 10 cars running, so as long as no one wrecks or retires from this race, they will all get points. But Biz he's in DRS range. Galileo missed Apex, and look at the run he gets. He's going to get him before they even get in DRS. Oh, Galileo's got front wing damage. He hit the wall somewhere. But it don't matter. Hockey doesn't care. Says, out of my way, thank you. I will take the lead. So he started, 17th, 18th, something like that? 16th? How many spots has he moved up? 14 spots. 14 spots. John was having a good run. He was up 8 spots. Really, he finishes 11th, so he'll end up with 7 spots gained. So that's a good run. He wrecked in the castle section, as you see. Shamu just got that 10th spot from him. He wrecked in the castle section. That's how you know where he wrecked. As who was that? 8th place, getting lapped. Yep, blue flag for 8th place. As Hockey is that Hockey behind him? I think that was Hockey. Can't tell. Jan gets 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. So I don't know if that was... That might have been Pat. That's Pat. He's in front of Pat and he's not getting out of his way. So Pat's got to be getting frustrated with Jan because Jan held him up through the whole entire midsection there. And Pat went from 10 seconds behind, or 8 seconds behind Galileo to 9 seconds, 10 seconds. Trejo's retired. That is not what Trejo wanted to do. He was in the 7th spot. He was in points. All he had to do was finish the race. and I don't know where he's wrecked at. I thought he wrecked in sector... Oh, he's wrecked in sector 1. So I'm wondering, as Jan's got a little bit of lag going too. Must be snowstorm up north in Canada somewhere with this lag. Yep, he wrecked in turn 1, so that tells me he overcooked turn 1 and tried to bail at the last second again and did what he did in qualifying and hit the wall. Spiffy will move up to 8th unless Shemu says, well, thank you. Instead of me getting a point, I will get 2 points. Oh, look at that. Jan is in 7th with 4 stops. 4 stops. The top 3 are all around 1-stop strategy. Chris on 13-lap old hards. He's 40 seconds behind 3rd, but with the connection issues he's had, I'd imagine he'll take 4th. I know I would take 4th with how many times he's lagged out and joined the race. Now, I'm pretty sure if Pat's watching the broadcast, he knows that Galileo's got front wing damage, and he might be pushing these last 5 laps to eat into that lead of Galileo's. But these guys are all spaced out. Skid's on softs. We know Hockey's got the fast lap. Pat pits because Pat's got a pit stop in hand. So Pat will give up chasing down Galileo. And he's going to get off those hards. And he's going to go to softs for these last 4 laps. And he's going to try to get the fastest lap of the race on these softs and low fuel to get that extra bonus point for Williams and for himself. Here he comes. Because Chris was nowhere near him. He was actually about 2 pit stops behind Pat. Pat could have pitted, came back out, and pitted again, and still be in front of Chris. Because Chris is just now getting across the start-finish line, and Pat's in turn 3. 2 straightaways ahead of him. Galileo down 4 seconds. Now, if Galileo really wanted to, he could pit. The difference is if he does pit and he changes his front wing, he will come out behind Pat. Well, no, he won't. He should be in front of Pat still, even with a front wing change. As Purple Haze hits the pits. So Purple Haze hits the pits, and I would imagine he's going to softs, and he's going to change the front wing. And he's got a 5-second penalty on top of that, so that's going to be even a longer pit stop. We'll see if Jan can get by him. Whereas Jan's got no wing end plates on either front wing, and I'm surprised he's even got front wings to replace, making 4 pit stops. If he pits again, he's got to be stealing front wings from his teammate by now. Nope, he stays out. Purple Haze is out of the pits. Boy, it was close to crossing that white line too early, but he gets away with it. So Chris is 4th still. Pat's in 3rd. Galileo stayed out. Spiffy gets out of Pat's way. So we'll see what Pat does here. I would imagine he's running. Yeah, he's running like a qualifying lap. Fresh softs, low fuel. He's on a qualifying lap trying to get that fast lap. Ooh, all over that curb. I take that curb, but I feel like that curb hurts you more than it helps you. But I think we all take it. And then you got that curb in the castle section that I don't even know why it's there. It's kind of like a nuisance, pretty much. I think it's just there to ruffle your feathers and try to knock you off your game when you're trying to pinpoint it through that little narrow gap. But that's just me. And it's got 3 more corners to navigate, and we'll see what he sets. I think fast lap right now is a 1:43.3 by Hockey. And what's he running? He won't have DRS, so that's going to kill him down the straightaway. He's going to set a 1:40.18. That's fast lap. Oh, we'll go on board with Hockey here, as he's got 2 laps remaining, well, a lap and a half, pretty much. We'll see what's the intervals to the leader. 5 cars on the lead lap. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th are all a lap down. And Skid is right in front of the leader, so if Skid can stay in front of the leader and out of the blue flag range, he should make it. Well, maybe. As we had a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. I don't know who that. Chris is in sector 1 and 2. Did he wreck? I don't think he wrecked. Here comes Hockey. And that wasn't Skid in front of Hockey. I don't know who that was. That was Lys Academy, who just went 2 laps down now. But here comes Hockey for the final time as he starts at the final lap now. And he's 24 seconds ahead of Galileo as Galileo's pitted. I just now realized Galileo has pitted. So is that a move against Pat that he pitted? And he's going to try to set fast lap on the final lap against Pat, so Pat can't have that extra bonus point. Gotta love the new strategy games with this extra bonus point. Sends a whole twist as Jan has retired from the race. Jan has retired. With 1 lap to go, Jan has wrecked and he's not going to score any points. Spiffy moves up to 7th. And that hurts the Racing Point team because they were both in the points. Hockey nice and easy into the castle section with those hard tires. Just trying to make them last. 22 laps is a long time. It's a lot of laps on those hards. They got to be about out of grip. He's just trying to make sure they don't pop. Comes, he's got 2 corners remaining, and Hockey will win Baku, the F2 series. As he comes to the line, Hockey with the win. Here comes Galileo now. Well, I forgot what fast lap. I think it was a 1:41.3, so we'll see what Galileo runs. If he sets fast lap or not. Purple Haze gets 6, Lush Muse 8, and a 1:41.2. He gets fast lap because Pat runs a 1:42.5, does not get fast lap. Chris comes around the final. He's got 2 corners to navigate. Comes down through. Spiffy gets 7th, even with a 5-second penalty. It doesn't cost him because 8th was a lap behind him. As Chris will get 4th with lagging like mad. He still manages 4th. Skid will end up 5th, but I would imagine Skid cannot be too happy with Chris. Hockey managed to get by him, but I think it was pretty much Hockey did it on a straight. And Skid will be the last guy to cross. So out of 18 runners, we had 8 finish. So 10 guys did not see the checkered flag. But that is round 4, guys. And that was a crazy, exciting, accident-filled F2 race. But it was a lot of fun. As hockey comes from F1, the F1 league comes down, and he will take the win here at Baku in the Williams. And Galileo, who started on pole, finishes second in the Alfa Romeo. And then you got Pat, who should take over the points lead, finishes third. If not, I think they might be tied. So we'll see the rundown here before we go. So hockey with the win, started 15th, first. Galileo started first, finishes second. Pat finishes third. Chris is fourth. Skid fifth. Purple Haze sixth. Spiffy finishes seventh. So Spiffy earns his points. Finally, he gets points. Leshemu gets eighth. Jan finishes ninth with no points. Trail finishes 10th, does not get any points. John 11th, Tepere 12th, Plaxico 13th, Tiburon 14th. The points leader going in finishes 15th. Killing Cash is 16th, Anthony 17th, and Jan is 18th. So 2 of the top 5 guys in points finishes 16th and 18th today. So that is a bad race for these guys. So we'll see if they can bounce back next week. And that is it from Baku, fellas. So we will see you next Sunday night at 7 p.m. New York time in Canada, Eastern time in the United States. We will be at Spain for round 5. Have a good night, guys.